Hello again, Struck Quap. Today I would like to bring you a video that's my first impressions of the early access of the English version of Sands of Salzaar, which is a Chinese-made game, a small game on Steam, and it's kind of discounted right now, and I think some of you might really enjoy it. It's not what you typically see on my channel, but I know there's some of you out there that would enjoy the game, so I wanted to share my first impressions of this game's early access. It's got some promise and I hope you like it. So let's just start with the very start when you launch the game. Some of the things that you would see first when you launch the game probably would be the settings, and this is kind of a quick check of what there is. Languages, English, and I'm assuming that's Mandarin. Then there's resolution changes, of course, windowed, not windowed. Then there's changes to the graphics quality, low, medium, high, max, and anti-aliasing goes up to 8 times MSA, at least for me. Then there's vertical sync on disabled. There's a walk of the frame rates if you want it, or unlimited. Then there's sound effects. But here's the fun part, the game settings. There's the maximum barrel size. There's quick cast targeted. Skills that target entities can be cast at the location of the mouse cursor by pressing a hotkey without manually selecting a target. Or quick cast locations. Skills that can be cast at the location of the mouse cursor by pressing a hotkey without manually selecting a target. So there's some quick cast options, obviously, as you can see. Then there's submit gameplay data, something that by default it's off. So it's not a game that switches the defaults to on. I made it on myself, but it's off by default, and that's to submit certain gameplay data to help the developers improve the game. It's completely optional, so they're just giving you the choice whether you want to do it or not, but they're defaulting to off, which is a good thing for people who don't like to submit data. Then there's hotkeys. I've changed a couple of hotkeys, but there's a lot of hotkeys that can help you make things easier. And there's help, and then there's feedback. Feedback from within the game, pretty nice. Now another thing that you would probably see is mods, and you can manage your mods this way. You can even make mods, so there's like some sort of expansions here. Contains a wide variety of models, drawings, music, maps, and other games files from Among Legends, one of their other games. So you can use that if you want to. There's plugins, campaigns, and multiplayer maps and other things that would eventually show up here, and you would be able to play those. You can even make your own ones, because the modding now is available in English. And when you start a new game, you have the choice between open world, custom battle, and multiplayer arena. And I selected single player. I'm gonna skip the intro for you. If you wanna watch it, I've got another video that would be just gameplay, no comment or anything like that, except maybe some text every now and then. So now let's talk about the heroes. The heroes you can pick are Spirit Mancer, Jackal, Shaman, Knight Errant, Blade Dancer, Hashashin, Berserker, Sentinel, Sultan, Bounty Hunter, Beastmaster, and the Nameless. The Nameless is probably one of the weirdest people. Probably one of the weirdest people you can play with, and it's probably very hard to get a good Nameless going on. I personally started my first playthrough as a Shaman, but everyone has a different thing special to it. So some heroes can can learn more talents, more magic from the Arcana, and have followers. Others don't have followers, and others cannot learn Arcana. For example, this one has followers, which are a pack of wolves. He starts with a pack of wolves, and he cannot use Arcana, from what I've seen. Some people have bad relationship with certain tribes, so talking and trading with those tribes would not be easy. See, this one starts with 3 bonus wisdom crystals at the start of combat, which I'm still kind of not familiarized well with, but eventually when I do, I'm probably gonna make a more extensive video. And you can see some people don't even have followers. Like this one doesn't say anything about followers, and this one, unique troops. You have the unique ability to train up recruits to become fellow bounty hunters, which is pretty nice, and you begin with 2 bounty hunters as followers. So yeah, this one doesn't have followers, the nameless. So once you select your class, you can do some choices. For example, let's select this one. And now that's legacy. Legacy, you gain legacy as you play. And your next playthrough would be easier based on the legacy you've earned in the previous one. And you don't have to have finished a playthrough. You just earn the legacy as you go, as you unlock things, as you finish challenges. And with the legacy you can start with more skills. You can start with more followers in your squad. Actually, that's not followers, that's heroes. So more about squads and that later, but you've got heroes or characters, and then you've got army, which is the default followers. So you can select one of those. And then there's items such as wisdom crystals, and that grants you 1 skill point to any character, and that's a certain number. Then there's prestige, and there's Sherpa, which is kind of like I guess inventory slot limit, and then there's Uther, which is the money. Then you can start with the bundle of Uther, wood and iron stone. You can also put some take some potions which permanently increase the strength or the agility or the stamina or spirit or the arcane points. And then there are certain things called settings, which is, for example, you can increase the difficulty and you get 20 extra legacy, or you can increase the troop limit, then you can increase the character limit. So as you said, you have characters, heroes, and you've got the army, the troops, which are separate limits. And then you can get favor with different tribes. There's 5, as you can see, or you can get Arcana talent upgraded to minor, to major, or to master. And then there's the nameless. So with the nameless you need 120 legacy to be able to even play the nameless. Once you have 120 legacy you can play the nameless, and that means with this sword you get back that 120 legacy. And you've got 120 more legacy to decide what to spend it on. There's a lot of good stuff. When I started my first playthrough I selected this Bloodsucker. I'm not sure how great it was, but it has helped me in the early levels before I got some skills that allow me to heal up while I do damage when transformed into a bear. But yeah, there's a lot of things like that. And since I selected a bounty hunter, should I just select something nice, something I'm wondering if I should select healing or enchanted blade. Okay, I'm gonna quickly select something like this one, just to see how it goes. Oh wait, so basically you have to select it this way. And I can probably select one more thing, because I've got 30 more points, so maybe let's select enchanted blade. Or rampage. Alright, let's select this. And then we can select an item with resources maybe, or maybe with wisdom crystals. We've got 10 points, so yeah, there we go. And then there's the character selection, which is very vast. I'm gonna quickly just show you all the different options. And I'm not gonna customize it too much, just so you can see what it's about. I just don't want to make this video too long. For a longer video, that would probably come later when I'm more familiarized with the game and when there's more things I can talk about for this game. But the too long didn't read version of it for now would be it's a nice game. It's a very fun game to play. It's not your typical and standard game. Oh, and this class is gender locked. My shaman could be female or male. This one isn't. So you've got hair at the back, which you can change as well to whatever you prefer. Then there's face options, a ton of face options. I'm not gonna go through all of them. Then there's eyebrows and eyes and nose and mouth and beard. And then there's a body you can select here. There's a bunch of different bodies you can select. So whatever you want, there's just plenty of options to choose from. And that's pretty fun. So okay, let's just select this one, and then there's trinkets such as face masks and stuff like that. So you've got things like this, some weird masks. You've got this one. And there's basically a ton of things you can select. You can create the character, you can name it. And now that's how it starts. You can select real mode, which is kind of a restriction to not be able to use dragons and other overpowered things, angels, phoenixes. However, you may still recruit troops using a trade permit at outposts in each town and upgrade troops for 30% less XP resources. Troop death rate, however, is also increased by 30%. Then there's the AI difficulty. I played on normal on my first playthrough, and until I got used to it, until I realized that I had skill points to spend and things like that, new with me, I was having trouble. I was getting my ass kicked in the 1v1 fights when I couldn't use my wolves and stuff. And then there's a roll limit, and then there's a hunger debuff, and I went for off. I think it's much more pleasant to play the game without the hunger debuff for new players who are not familiarized with it. So I'm gonna skip through the dialogue quickly just so I can show you the first few minutes of the game. And then I'm gonna skip through certain parts where you're gonna see some of the systems of the game. So first let's do the first combat, and after that I can quickly show you. You can hold control. Control speeds things up. This was quick because I was holding control. So I'm gonna demonstrate. I'm gonna be skipping this text so that you don't get spoiled much. Try to not get spoiled by the text. I'm trying to make sure you're not seeing it, but you can always pause and read it if you want to. But yeah, there is an interesting story, and there's unexpected twists without me spoiling too much. So you can see this is when I'm holding control. Time gets sped up, and there is time in the game, and certain quests have a limit of time, and you have to complete the quest within that limit. Otherwise, you fail. And there's different zones. So if you open the map, there's Redstone. Then there's Crying Rock, then there's Zagros Mountains, Umber Cliffs, Twin Tuna Valley, and West Nukana Desert. And I'm assuming eventually they're gonna be adding new stuff. Here there's a perfectly nicely divided mountain area, and here there's a perfectly nicely divided forest marshes area. So that's probably gonna be upcoming with DLCs there. And there's even places over there that could be explored. You start here at Redstone, and there's things that you can find on the ground that you can either collect or gather. And I'm gonna try and find you some rocks to gather. And here it is. You click on the prestige shard and you get 1 prestige point, which you can use when creating characters. The quest panel has different types of quests, such as main story, or side quests, or quests from some tasks that you've taken from a town, such as, for example, Redstone Keep could give you a quest that you can do. And if you have negative standing with a certain faction, they won't even let you enter the village and talk to the people. But let's talk about the quests in a moment. I first want to show you the 3 types of different combat you can do. And here is one of the things that you might encounter as a 1v1 fight, where it's just gonna be your hero against either a group of heroes or against another single enemy. So exploration mode solo. Solo meaning is just you, no other heroes, no other troops. It tells you that it's been 13 out of 15 days since the last exploration, so we're gonna have to find another one quickly. So I'm gonna skip through to that one as well. And that's the other one, that's like it. Exploration mode, so of course recommended level is 3, so I'm gonna probably destroy this one. But yeah, it's a statue of a legendary hero, and you can just farm those statues for wood every few days. You can see there's the spirit of a hero that wants to fight with me. And once you beat the hero, you get your reward, party XP, money, and other drops. And I got a soldier's XP stone, which is actually pretty nice to have. The second type of combat you would see is regiment mode, and with regiment mode it's you, your troops, and any other characters that you would have in your army. So it's the full army against another big army, and those big armies that you encounter would be varying in size and difficulty. There's only one thing which is bigger in regards of the scale of the combat, and that is the siege. More about the siege in a moment, but first let's show you party mode. Party mode is just you and other characters, no troops. And there it is, party mode. This is for a party up to 4. Of course, I only have my hero right now in my party, so just gonna be my hero and my summons. But if I had other characters, it would have been me and those other characters with me. So I just summoned some boars, summoned some other things like bears, and in a way I still have an army with that Beastmaster. So the next thing I want to show you after this fight is done is the siege mode. And the siege mode is a little bit different because you can give certain teams orders to defend, to follow you, or to attack. And let's show you footage of this. And there it is, the siege mode. You can see I can click on some of my army troops to follow me, I can click on others to defend, and I can make others attack. This is a more simplified siege mode where it's just 3 points and we start with 2 of them already ours. But sometimes you would start with 1 and there's gonna be 4 total, so you would have to capture 1 point, then try and defend your starting point and the newly captured one, then get the 3rd one, and then eventually do the same with the 4th one. I got lucky, this is actually the first time I saw a triple instead of a 4-sided battle. And yeah, you just capture 1 point and you try to hold it and defend it. Capture the 3rd point, hold it and defend it, then capture the 4th point and hold it and defend it. In this battle, I'm not sure why I started with my base and the village. I guess because it was maybe defending a village, so the village was already on our side. And then I just have to capture this tower. Once I capture this tower, the fight is over and we win. It's pretty nice actually, I really like that mode. And here is the intel system. As you start fighting for one faction, you might end up fighting against another faction. There are certain quests where you have to decide who you want to side with. Do you want to side with the Dakan? Do you want to side with the Nasir or Deep, Akko or Tur? And you're fighting certain types of enemy factions, not just city factions, but Wildfire Clique, Desert Brotherhood, Mountain Folk, Church of Radiance, etc. And you get hated, hostile, weary, and so on, and eventually you build rapport. You build rapport with certain of those factions. You can see how one faction is related to another with your intel. You can see what characters you can find in that. You can see their territory, how many territories they own. And then there you can see different vocations, so you can see your specific faction relationships by a city, by an outpost. Then there's a rapport that you can build with characters. As you complete or fail their quests, you can build rapport with them. And you can also see their stats, their equipment, and a lot of other things. That you can check. So that's kind of it about the intel. You would be finding intel every now and then as well. Some special intel that you find as an item. I've only found it once, I can't show you right now, but this is something to expect. And eventually you're going to reach a town. Again, there's many towns, there's many outposts. Each zone has one main outpost and then a few minor outposts. For redstone, you can see it's redstone. And then there's east, north and west. There isn't redstone south. But you've got the regular, the north, the east and the west one. And there's gonna be quests. You can take. This one is recruiting volunteers to get rid of some desert hippies that are some sort of cult believing in a fire god. And he wants us to get rid of them. And he's gonna pay us. And he wants us to take 3 squads over. So we have to expect some resistance. And then there's other messages here about markets opening soon in the Artisan Bazaar in Redstone Keep here. And then there's the keep itself, which has different characters that could be in the wild. You can talk to each of those characters. Then there's things like the chief and the mercenary captain. The mercenary captain would allow you to hire help, to hire some different types of troops. So this one is allowing us to buy an armored swordsman. I don't have the money for that one, but you can see the details about it. And eventually, if you buy it, you would be able to see the other details. And the chief is normally where you get quests. He's gonna pay us 203 if we agree to a task, and he gave us a task which is to transport Tri-Point Shell safely to Kota Town, East Outpost. And then there's, as I said, characters and a merchant. First, let's show you the merchant. The merchant can sell you goods, all sorts of goods. See, he's even got some weapons for sale. And as you can see, it's automatically comparing the current weapon to the one that we are checking out. Food is something you would need to survive, because your squad will get hungry if you've selected the option where you get hungry. You can have amulets, rings, etc. as a trinket. Only one trinket, one weapon, one armor and a mount can be equipped at the same time, and you lose durability as you fight, which is where you get basic, advanced and ultimate forged tools. So this helps you with gear 1 to 7 as a level. This is for gear level 1 to 12, and this is for all sorts of gear for repairing. Now, as I said, there's characters. Let's just talk to one of them just to show you. So there's either the option to recruit it as a character to fight for you. There's the option to ask them if they feel strongly about someone, to give them gift, maybe to get more influence with it so you can get better things to do. Some of those characters you would be able to romance and things like that, from what I've seen. Then you can ask what they think of you, and they also have errands that I can give you. This one needs a letter delivered to Petra. He's now in Redstone Keep, West Outpost. And let's help her. For 325 Uther, you can accept and deliver this. And there's this one that allows you to just see them like this. And there's other things you can do with the town. You can siege it and attack it. You can garrison troops. You can do buildings if you own the town yourself, or you can even set it as a waypoint so you can respawn with a return scroll. So how do you travel? You can either walk, or you can just click on that and move here, and the hero would start moving. You can hold control to make it quicker, and boom, 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 and we are there. Although some desert bandits attacked us. And this one was to Petra, this one was to Kota town, and then there was another one. And if you want to travel to Kota town or to Petra, traveling to Kota town would not be that difficult. You just have to find it on the map, like here, and move here and just do it. And I'm just gonna skip through to when we're in Kota town. And here we are at Kota town East. Kota town East, if we click on that, here's what Redstone Keep sent you, and you get the Uttar, 203 Uttar. Will that be enough to recruit some units to show you? Probably not, which is why I'm going to switch to another hero quickly. So let's save this one and then show you the other hero, so I can talk more about army and unit promotion. And here I am on my other hero, on the shaman, and I just want to quickly show you the party and the talents and the skills interface. So you can see with my party I've got 2 cubs down, and we can restore them with that, as I mentioned, and now this one is restored. And not only that, I can also promote it. This wolf cub gets promoted to Arctic Wolf, and it's already an Arctic Wolf. Now let's quickly show you the skills of my hero. I've leveled up everything. I've got Slam, Crunch, Shamanic Cry, Howl, and Beast Stampede, and all of those have different passives attached to them, like HP bonus, strength bonus for me, and it's not just for the skill itself but for the hero in general. This is for the skill itself. You recover more HP while in beast mode. This one gives you an extra summon, another one extra summon. This one gives you Cry of Rage, increasing the own crit rate by 100% for 10 seconds, and this one makes it, instead of summoning cheetahs, to summon a Yeti Chief, which is actually a bear. And this increases, while in beast mode, summon 100 wild boars instead of 50. And then I've got as other skills the Shaman here, which is a passive, and then I've got Legacy, Bloodsucker, which I selected. And since I can't level up this one right now until I push the campaign, that means I cannot spend my skill point I've got. Now let's show you a little bit about promoting characters. You can see different tribes have different ways of how one unit can be. The wolves you saw only have a straight line. Let's try and show you this desert guy. This desert guy, you can see there's Mountain Tongue, Gorilla, Tracker, and so on. There's different options. The ones that are pretty interesting are the Dakan as well. So with the Dakan you can see there's the Widows, the Priestesses, the Elders, and the Slayers. And then another one that's interesting is also this one, from Farmer and from Peasant, what you can get, and from Savage Boor. So each village, each faction has their own units, and those units have different promotion routes. You can see that's Akau. Akau has Camel and Dweller, and based on what you've selected you can get different promotions as well. When promoting units, you might want to consider the options of what weapon and what types of attacks they're using, because certain types of attacks deal extra damage or less damage against certain types of armor. What armor they're using against for the same reason. Certain armor is better against certain types of weapons and weak against other, and whether they're mounted, whether they're cavalry or not. So there's again a lot of options, but apart from that you also want to consider the abilities, the skills that a certain unit is using. And when you know what you want to do, just promote it and keep promoting until you reach the final one, and then just max it out. Definitely some interesting combinations out there, and if you combine some nice combinations and some things that buff your team, such as for example this item increases all melee allies' chance to impale targets by 10%, increasing enemy targets' chance to take crits. And if you're stacking melee enemies, and if you have different things that buff you and nearby enemies and nearby allies, it's gonna be great. You can combine the weapon, the armor and the accessory together with some nice skills of your class and some nice skills that you learn from trainers. And yes, you can learn skills from trainers. There's traders that can offer to sell you skills. If you have the money, you can buy them. They're normally in the quests, in the quest outposts. Now there's talents, and there's things like this one. Party attack and crit rate 10%, 5%, but in order to get this one you have to get this and this. So you have to go all the way here and all the way here to unlock this one. But then there's other ones, such as the formations here, which you can have only one active. You can have them all unlocked, but you only can have one active because it's an exclusive talent. And then there's things like revive and like twisted fate, which is only in battle. And there's things like this one here, which again is only in battle, dominance. So basically you have this one here, which is all about speed and buffing your team. This one, which is about getting XP leadership, which is squad capacity and things like that. And deciding a buff that's either dodge rate for the party, defense, block rate or attack for the party. And then there's this one that's about healing, getting potions, health recovery rate, injury reduction and injury rate reduction, food consumption reduction and things like that. And then there's this is more about the farming stuff. You're gonna be getting better prices, get wood, get stone, get more stone, get jade, which is very nice. I strongly suggest if you're having trouble with jade to invest into this. Yeah, there's definitely some nice things over here. And then this one's about charisma, about building rapport with factions and getting party XP as well. You can see there's a lot of party XP you can get. This increases the character limit, not the troop but the character limit. So this is more about character stuff. Having more characters in the army. This is about troops. And this is again about favor with factions. Favor with factions, spying, getting intel, being more diplomatic. So that's kind of how this goes. It's a nice tree, it looks good. It might look a little bit too much to people, but it's not that scary. It's not that scary. You're gonna quickly figure out what which thing does. It's very well translated, and I think you would love it. I hope you would love it as much as I did. And I also hope this video was helpful and lets you figure out whether the game is the right game for you, whether you would enjoy the game as much as I did. It's definitely a game that not everyone would enjoy. If you want your typical standard hack and slash isometric RPG, which is most of the content on my channel, such as Diablo type of games, Torchlight type of games, Grim Dawn, Path of Exile, that probably might not be for you, but I know that some of you out there enjoy all sorts of games, including that type of game, so I wanted to just share my impressions, because it's definitely a well-rounded up game. If you like this type of content and want to be notified when I upload more such content for this game or for hack and slash ARPGs, whether it's isometric or third person or other types of RPGs like tactical ones like Baldur's Gate 3, you can subscribe to my channel, hit that bell button to not miss out the notifications. Thank you for watching this video, Struck Club. Keep it cool until next time, and goodbye from me.